Magisk might leave Astralis while Magixx might be coming back. Exclusive comments from Parivision players, Stage 2 recap, and Stage 3 pick'ems. Hello there friends, this is CS2 News Hub. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. And we're starting today's episode as always with roster changes. This time something truly miraculous happened. Zero Tenacity decided to officially announce their disband. Yeah guys, the Zero Tenacity, the notoriously controversial team that terrorized the entire Tier 2 scene, they're finally fading into oblivion. Sure, the players are just now free agents, but this at least feels like a step towards cleaning up the mess linked to them. Just to remind you, they had a lot of accusations of cheating and match fixing that followed the team for ages. Either way, the Tier 2 scene can finally breathe a bit easier. Now, more roster changes may soon hit Astralis as well. It has been reported that Magisk still hasn't signed a contract with the org, which means that starting next year he will become a free agent unless Astralis finalizes the deal. And the same situation applies to Hooxi. If nothing changes, he could be on the chopping block as well. According to the Danish IGL himself, quote-unquote, it's very hard to build a sense of stability in a team where people are constantly coming and going. Most likely Magisk won't stay with us after his loan ends either, which basically means that Astralis might soon need to look for another player, if not two. And just a reminder, earlier reports already mentioned that the org is dealing with serious financial issues, which we discussed in the previous episode. You know, because they reportedly have been struggling to pay salaries in time. Guys, what do you think about Astralis? Who could join the roster? Maybe some young guns or anyone else? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Meanwhile, another player with a very similar nickname clearly isn't planning to slow down. While most pros are either grinding the major or getting ready for smaller lands, Magixx has been waking up early for several days straight, firing up FaZe and streaming non-stop until he literally goes to sleep. Most likely he's just rebuilding his form, but what exactly for is still a mystery. There haven't been any rumors about the new teams, so either some top orgs are already thinking about post-major changes, or we might be looking at the birth of a completely new lineup. But here's the best part, I have no clue what he's preparing for, but I am certain he is already prepared. Speaking of Eastern European players who recently surprised a lot of people, we couldn't skip over Parivision. We got a short exclusive comment from Xielo, made just for our channel, where he shared some extra details. In our previous video we talked about how Dastan considered himself a fairly bad coach because he sometimes snaps at his players. This time Xielo explained it from the player's perspective, and here's what he said. I'm fine with the criticism because it's fair. Honestly, I think that's one of his strengths. Yes, he's demanding, but he wants everyone to play at 100%. And I respect him for that as a coach. We also asked Xielo what changed for them between Stage 1 and Stage 2 to produce such different results, and here's what he answered. Maybe it's because we were more nervous during Stage 1. Now we feel more confident. And finally we asked about the team's expectations going into Stage 3. Surprisingly, Xielo said this. To be honest, I don't have any expectations. I just want to play. The major is a very important tournament, and it's my first one. We're all charged up 100% and want to show ourselves and our best game. Well, Xielo, thanks for the comment and good luck in Stage 3. Speaking of, it's time to wrap up Stage 2 and figure out which teams actually made it through. Only 3 matches were played on the final day, meaning we got the last names advancing to the next stage. Here are the matchups. Passion UA vs MAT, 3D Max vs Ninjas in Pyjamas, and Liquid vs Astralis. Let's start with the warm-up match of 3D Max vs Ninjas in Pyjamas. And you know what? This one will go down in the books with a pretty funny stat from Ninjas in Pyjamas, because they finally managed to play a map without overtimes in Stage 2 best of 3s. But here's the catch, they lost it 13-3. That was the opener of the series. The second map looked slightly better for them, but not enough to turn things around. As a result, Ninjas in Pyjamas, a team that started this major surprisingly confidently, sadly dropped out. But here I want to say kudos to Wrinkle, who was a definite beast throughout the tournament. I think we will see more of good Ninjas in Pyjamas in the next season. Next, we move on to the American Derby, M80 vs Passion UA, which ended in favor of Passion. Despite being one of the teams that many people predicted to get eliminated early, Passion UA managed to bounce back and shocked a lot of viewers. After losing the first map, they came back to win the next two and punched their ticket to stage 3. This also marks the first time in 6 years that the core of complexity players, excluding them, have reached the next stage of a major, something they hadn't achieved in a very long time, so congratulations guys. After the match, Grim said it's always nice to beat his North American friends, but he genuinely feels bad that he had to do it in an elimination match at a major. Grim said he wished M80 had advanced as well. And now, my friends, the match everyone was waiting for, Astralis vs Team Liquid. To be honest, both were playing absolutely awful throughout the tournament, but Team Liquid at least looked more determined and showed that they still had ambition. Maybe even with a hint of we could actually win this thing, and you know, with Ultimate saying that he wants to become the MVP. And honestly, it really looks like they plan to reach at least the playoffs, because with their win, Liquid became only the 17th team in major history and the 5th team in CS2 to come back from 0-2 start under the Swiss system. But the craziest part is that this is Liquid's third 0-2 comeback in major history. First in Antwerpen, then at Blast Paris, and now at the Budapest Major. Their victory over Astralis was surprisingly clean. On the first map, they absolutely dismantled the Danes, winning the first half 11-1, while Ultimate put up a 1.78. That was crazy. Although the second map was closer, but Astralis still couldn't get anything done and were eliminated. However, Astralis did leave us one emotional moment, their coach comforting his son while he was crying after the loss. But my friends, I guess it's sports, and this is why we love it. It's either about sadness or about happiness. There's only one winner. But also guys, remember how Liquid themselves rated their own team in the lowest tier among all major participants in one of their videos? The tier was called Happy to Be Here, and despite that, they are now officially in stage 3. Congrats! Well, the third stage starts pretty soon, and the following matchups are Mouse vs Parivision, Imperial vs the Mongols, Spirit vs Liquid, Passion UA vs G2, Vitality vs FaZe, Pain vs 3D Max, Furia vs Navi, and Falcons vs Bait. Here's a fun fact: at Austin Major, Falcons have already met Bait. It also was a best of 1, but back then Bait won. And yeah guys, pick'ems are finally available. Here's what mine look like.
Hello there friends, so before setting things up in my CS2 pick'ems, I use this website to simulate how the bracket might go. As you can see, in round 1 and round 2 we might get some crazy matchups. And here you have to determine your favorites very carefully, because like, for example, in a match Furia versus Mouse, you might get either Furia or Mouse to proceed to 3-0. I mean guys, the real major starts here with the best teams in the world. Now let's see what I've got. You see, in my 3-0s I decided to put Furia because they are like Furia, they are one of the best teams in the world and they're in peak form right now, and also Vitality, just because it's Vitality. Also in 3-1s and 3-2s I decided to put Mouse, Navi and Team Spirit because they're kinda unshaken. I think they will advance with 3-1, and also Falcons and FaZe Clan surprisingly, and Parivision just because I'm a fan guy, you know. And unfortunately in 0-3 I decided to go with the Mongols and Bait, because first, the Mongols are without Sanzu, and I mean, no disrespect, but they're gonna lose. And Bait because they looked a little bit shaky during stage 2, and also if we see whatever matchups they have in this bracket, they will get some really tough opponents, and I think they might actually go 0-3. Also, this is not like stage 1 or stage 2. Yeah, we've got some best of ones in the first 2 days, but It's not crazy, and it's not underdogs versus unprepared teams versus favorites. It's basically the best teams in the world. They will have to prepare, because this is almost playoffs already.
Don't forget to share yours in the comments below. At least who will go 0-3 and who will win 3-0. And that's all for today, my friends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button to follow our channel and drop by in the comments below. We're not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.